We are live on the air. I am Ann White, Kimberly Burnham, and we are here with Jordan Turner. Jordan, Global Conservation Group. You want to go ahead and take over.
Hi, Ann. Thank you very much. Well, welcome to the Global Conservation Group's meeting. Today we're here to talk about a couple of different things. First of all, Philip Morris International, which is a major cigarette manufacturer, and they're testing on animals. They are testing cigarettes on animals, which seems pretty redundant considering we know the negative health effects already. So we have started a campaign against them. We have almost 200,000 signatures on change.org, so it's really getting somewhere, and we encourage you to sign the petition. And we're also looking for new ideas on how we can better form this campaign. So if anyone has any ideas, they can let me know and I can write it down.
And where is Philip Morris? Are they? Where's their corporate office or their laboratories?
It's in Virginia, I believe.
And I wonder what they are testing on animals, because it almost seems like they've got it all figured out. Cigarettes are deadly for your health.
Exactly.
They're still doing it, though, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so one of the things I think we can talk about also in terms of these campaigns is what motivates corporations.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think that there are a couple of ways that we can have a significant influence on corporations. One way is if people stop buying their products, then that's going to motivate them because they want people to buy their products.
Exactly.
So that one thing that people can do, in addition to signing petitions, is to stop buying their products.
Mm-hmm.
That's certainly one way. Another way is they need to have ways to advertise their product. And if broadcast companies, if newspapers, if magazines stop carrying their ads,
mm-hmm.
That's also going to influence them. And so that's another way is as we're talking on social media, on the radio, on different venues, or talking with people who have newspapers, magazines, radio stations, talking to them about, how do they decide who can advertise with them, and do they have a policy on who can advertise for them? And so it might be worth looking at where does Philip Morris.
So characters.
Hold on.
Okay, hold on. What I'm going to do is I have a control room
We don't have
already here. If
right now.
you're not speaking, mute your mic. Matthew, I think that's you. Can you mute your mic until you're ready to speak? I don't know if he can hear you. Okay. Everybody can hear Matthew. Welcome. We do have a Matthew. Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah. So one way that we can influence.
I think it's working. I can't hear anything, but I think it's working.
Yep, we can hear you, Matthew.
So one way that we can think about it is as we talk on social media and different places, talking about what's going on, but also as we're talking to companies that have broadcasts, that have radio networks, magazines, newspapers.
Looks like something just happened to Kim, but one of the.
I'm still here.
Okay.
She's still with us.
It's a little wild here. Kim, one of the things, though, you're so right. I just saw that Oprah, remember she was advertising for Monsanto and in her magazine, and everybody got their knickers in a knot, and Oprah pulled the Monsanto ads.
Right.
So I think if we see anywhere where Philip Morris is advertising, we could then go to the advertiser with people and telling people not to buy that magazine or make a stink to the advertiser.
Right, and talking to companies that carry ads about whether they have a policy, what kinds of policies do they have, so that it can affect not only, you know, in this one example, but also working with companies to clarify what is their policy, like, and how does their policy impact animal rights, human rights, our environment, those sorts of things. That if we can work not only at the level of, okay, are you going to use, you know, let this person advertise or this company advertise, but also at the policy level of, you know, how do you decide who can use your media vehicle as a way to publish their ideas and their ads.
Good point. Jordan, I was going to see if we could get Matthew. Matthew, your mic is turned off now. Are you able to hear us? And can you turn your mic on just to check in? Can you hear us, Matthew? Give us a wave if you can hear us. Because you see he's got his mic turned off. We can't hear him, but I don't think he can hear us either.
Okay, he just messaged me on Facebook, so...
Can he hear us?
Let me ask him that.
Because once he can hear us, the microphone tab is up at the very top where he can turn his mic off so we can hear or unmute.
Yeah, he can't hear us, he says.
Yeah, and everything else is live. He looks good from our end, except that his mic is turned off. So maybe it's something with his earphones or something.
I'll just use this opportunity also to talk about the previous one of the previous campaigns at Global Conservation Group, where we were working on St. Patrick's Parish to eliminate the abuse of the pigs, and I found that one of the strategies that seemed to influence to be successful was who's associated with that community also, so that when it's a community-related event, in the case of St. Patrick's Parish, it was, from what I could see, a lot of people who are Catholic, not necessarily associated with that specific parish, but kind of the broad strokes are influenced or within that community, and they started to not like what was happening, and the fact that their community, their Catholic community, started to look bad because of that. And even though they weren't personally associated with that parish, it influenced the way that people saw their more broad community, and that created some action in terms of people wanting to see that abuse stopped, so that there'd be a more positive image of their community in general. And I think that that's a good strategy for us also, is to look at not only the individual organization or company that is perpetrating some of these things, but looking even broader at who else is influenced by that community or organization.
That's exactly right. In fact, a major Catholic newspaper and news site, Catholic Online, actually was the first major Catholic news source to publish an article about them and condemning their actions. it actually started our campaign. It got it going viral, and because of them, they spoke out against this pretty clearly, and they gave a pretty clear message to that that's not acceptable behavior. And because of them, that's how this got started.
One thing, Jordan, just to put on our list, there's so much to do, you know, and we're only one group. But because now I am a mother clucker with chickens, I noticed that in England they have a big movement to rehome what they call their battery hens. And these are the hens that are stuck in these little tiny crates. They can't turn around. It's like the beagles, you know, when the beagles were in the crates. You know, and chickens are very social creatures. So Animal Place in California has started rehoming battery hens, but I just think it's something to be aware of is the abuse to chickens as well as every other animal. So like I say, ourselves too thin, but I think we should put looking at factory farms for chickens on the list.
I just got a message from Matthew, and he says, according to some settings I have it says that the moderators, I'm not sure
Says
what he means by that.
Says what?
The moderator is controlling the audio settings, he says.
I am, but I do see Matthew, and he just muted. Oh, he's muted. I think Kim just muted him. Kim, did you mute Matthew?
Oh.
Unmute.
No, let's see.
Because it says creating calm just muted him, and you're creating calm too.
I don't know how to change it though.
Are you in the control room? If you go over to the left.
If I go on his.
Okay, now it's fine.
Okay.
He's not muted anymore from anything I can see in the control room.
Matthew, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're on.
I'm gonna get headphones, so I'll be back.
Okay, we can hear Samuel.
Actually, that was a different Matthew, I think.
No, that was Samuel. Samuel with the headphones.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about our Matthew.
I had a telephone meeting online apparently.
But from the control, Matthew is good to go.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Anyway, next on the agenda is we're continuing the pig debate, the St. Patrick's thing. Like I said, it was picked up by major newspapers.
You guys can hear
USA
me. I
Today.
can't hear anything you guys are saying.
Oh. But we can hear Matthew now. It was Matthew who said he can't hear anything we're saying.
Let me tell you
So we can't hear him. Maybe something with his headset. He should check to see whether he can hear with it without his headset.
Alright. Sorry. Is it better?
Okay, who's this? Samuel? Hello, Samuel? Oh, we can see him.
Okay.
And you know, they're young enough to figure this out. These two old ladies figure it out.
Oh gosh. And how are your chickens doing?
They're great.
I would love to meet them, just so you know.
I've got 21 hens now, or chickens.
You're really making me jealous, just so you know.
Okay, so we're all here.
So there must be some kind of server problem.
Yeah, because we can hear Matthew. You can let him know we can hear him.
Yep, I just told
There's a
them.
TV on, so like it's just blaring in the background.
Okay. Samuel, can you hear us?
Samuel?
I turned down my mic volume.
And we can hear Samuel, we can hear Matthew.
Let me try rejoining and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay. Um, anyway, continuing on with the St. Patrick's thing, our petition online has over 84,000 signatures, and that's pretty impressive. And that's in part due to the posts about Catholic Online that they did. So that was really cool. We do have 2 attorneys that are filing a lawsuit against that church, Stephen Penn and Daniel Jardine. We don't have any information on that quite yet. Hopefully we'll get an update on how that's going shortly in the next couple weeks. We also launched a website called stpatricksabuse.com, and that's really garnering a lot of attention as well.
I'm sorry they're doing it again. You know, after all the noise we made last year, it's just I can't fathom that they would do it again. But
Well, hopefully that lawsuit will change things up a little bit. Oops.
What happened to the Vietnam dog food? Dog food. That on the street?
The dog food?
Weren't you reporting on some dogs that were being used for food in Vietnam?
Actually, it was a cat situation.
Oh, cats.
It was where 3 tons of cats were intercepted from China to Vietnam's capital in Hanoi. I don't know how you say it.
Hanoi.
Yeah, something like that. And they were intercepted by the authorities and confiscated. However, they ended up killing them anyway, even though we offered to provide them with shelter. But hopefully we'll change that for future situations. We actually sent a letter to the ambassadors in the UK and the US, so hopefully that got their attention.
It's pretty sick that they...
And next up on the agenda is egg gig laws. Egg gig laws are laws that basically make it a criminal offense for anyone to report cruelty to animals on factory farms. It's kind of crazy. Most of these laws have been shut down. They've been rejected by state legislators and whatnot. However, there are 4 pending proposed laws in 4 states, one being Wisconsin, the other 3 being Colorado, Wyoming, and Washington. So we are planning a vigorous campaign to defeat those. We just bought a website called stopthegag.org, and that's set to be launched next week. We're very excited about that. That'll allow anyone to contact their legislators very easily to express concern about that.
And it's stopthegate, GATE.org?
Stopthegag, GAG.org.
Oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Gag, okay. Yeah, that's terrible.
Yep.
That people can't even report abuse. So I think that's got to be an important one.
Yeah. Yep, it makes it a criminal offense to videotape, to document, to go undercover, or to report cruelty to animals. It's unconstitutional for the first thing, and obviously it does not protect animals whatsoever.
Right, you know, it's probably kind of along the same lines as there are some laws that protect food distributors, that you can't slander food, including fruits and vegetables. You can't say anything negative about them, and it really protects, companies and producers who are producing things that are harmful, that are not good for people. But yeah, you're not allowed to say anything bad about foods that are being produced, and I'm sure that this law comes under that a similar kind of ruling.
Mm-hmm.
But abuse, just not in any form can it really be protected. I mean, that's just not right.
I agree. Anyway, next on the agenda, if we're moving forward, is Tennessee frog stabbing event. This is pretty disgusting, actually. This is something that we've campaigned against for 2 or 3 years in a row. Unsuccessfully, it's continued to happen. However, this year we're going to plan to dedicate a lot of resources into it this time. And I actually flew down to Tennessee 2 years ago to protest it and to speak with the organizers of it, and they're pretty crazy and violent. Nope, this is a different group in Tennessee. Yeah, the church one was in Wisconsin.
Well, anybody who abuses animals has got to be pretty crazy, so you start from that point.
Yeah. So basically, this frog stabbing contest is a youth group in Tennessee where they literally stab frogs, and whoever has the heaviest bag of stabbed frogs at the end of the contest wins a scholarship, a $500 scholarship.
Is it sponsored by?
So where do they get the scholarship from?
It's a youth group that hosts the event called DeKalb County Young Farmers and Ranchers, and
But so they can use that scholarship with any university, or?
the scholarship goes to the person who wins the contest, because each person who participates has to pay, and then that's how they get the money for the scholarship.
But they can use the scholarship at whatever university they would like to?
As long as
Is that right?
as long as it's a degree in agriculture.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, we did launch a campaign. I mean, a website,
Mm-hmm.
and a campaign called StopFrogAbuse.com. We launched that last summer, and it was featured on Fox, on USA Today, and 2 local radio stations. So it's starting to get a little bit more attention. We're going to try and focus a lot more resources into it this year, as I said. I'm not sure if I'm going to fly down there again this year. Depends what my schedule looks like, but yeah, hopefully we can stop it. This is going to be the 3rd year in a row if they do it this year. And it's around July or June.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think whether there'd be anything that we could do with local universities, local to Tennessee, like Tennessee universities, to get them to go on record as saying that they won't accept the scholarship money if that's how the kids earned that scholarship money.
I haven't thought of that. I'll write that down.
Yeah, because if that, I think, would be big news if Tennessee universities said, we're unwilling to accept the scholarship money towards tuition because of how it was gotten.
Yeah. And there's actually, going back to the pig thing, there's actually another pig event scheduled to take place down in Indiana, in Harrison County. It's a separate thing, not associated with the church, but it's the same thing, a pig wrestling event. And we're working with the Humane Society. And so far we have been on USA Today, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty big platform. And then last week we filed complaints with all the local and state authorities, so hopefully they might step in.
That sounds great.
How do you, back to the frogs, how do you spell that county? D-E-K-A-L-B?
D-E, capital K-A-L-B.
Okay. I was going to look, Kim, and see what colleges are around that county, because probably someone with a $500 scholarship would go to a junior college or some college in that area. So I'll just find out what colleges are there, and maybe we can get them on board somehow.
Yeah, it's a very rural area, but I believe Nashville is about an hour away, so there might be a big university there.
Right. Maybe see who have ag departments or anything like that, or if the junior colleges offer anything in ag. You said it's got to be in agriculture.
Well, the high school is all for this event. They were part of it the first time. The second time they weren't associated with it because we pressured them into not doing it, but yeah.
Right. So little by little, really, we can change the world.
Yeah.
Stop these kinds of events.
Absolutely. And next on the agenda is we had an incident down in Kenosha County, Wisconsin, where 2 horses were neglected. Basically, they didn't have any shelter whatsoever, and they were in an open lot. And the sheriff is actually friends with the owner, so that's why they were not taking any action. However, typical. However, after we launched a petition and campaign and were on the news, they actually opened up the barn that was on that property because before it was locked. So they opened it up so the horses can now get in there. So now they have shelter, so that's good. However, they're still not going to do anything to the owner, of course. But yeah, in fact, they're actually charging the people that reported it to us with trespassing. So. Yeah.
We lost Matthew and gained Maureen.
Maureen?
Yeah, Maureen is coming on.
I believe she was actually the first person that reported the horse thing.
Oh, there she is. Hi, Maureen. Can you hear us?
Hi. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yes, the horses are safe in the oversized shed.
Yes. It's better than nothing.
Yeah, good work.
Right.
You did a really good job stepping up and reporting it and being out there for them, and that was brave.
They seem to like having options.
Yeah.
There we go. I have to use my phone for the pieces.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Matt. See you later. Anyway, does anyone have any ideas for going to the egg gate thing? Does anyone have any ideas on what we can do to bring attention to that issue?
Who's got to vote on it? I mean, in other words, where is it at as far as legislation goes?
Well, in Wisconsin, I can't remember which representative is going to introduce it. However, he has not even introduced it yet officially. He just says he's going to. So we have a big opportunity to pressure him into not even taking that first step before he does it. So hopefully our website will be able to pressure him into not doing that.
And is it anybody else's state? Like Kim is in Washington. Are they doing anything in Washington with that, or is it just I mean, it sounds like it's a United States issue.
Yep. It's only being proposed this year right now in 4 states: Colorado, Wisconsin, Wyoming, and Washington. However, in our state, in Wisconsin, it hasn't even been officially proposed yet. So hopefully we can stop it before it does happen.
And do you know what state it's in Washington?
Like
what's going on in Washington?
Yep,
No, I'll check into that and see.
Yep,
what's
I actually
going on
have that information. Let me see what stage it's at right now.
Okay.
For Washington. Okay.
Seeing I'm kind of late to the party, what legislation are we talking about here?
Hi, Matt. We're talking about something called egg gate laws. These are laws that make it illegal for anyone to report animal abuse on farms.
You know how they have those people who go undercover and then take pictures? They're not allowed to do that anymore. They could be, I guess, charged with a crime, right, Jordan? If they start going.
They can face 1 year in jail and a $5,000 fine.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. They should be charging the people that abuse the animals, not the people that report them. Okay, Kimberly, I do have the answer to your question.
Okay.
It is House Bill 1104, and it was introduced last month by Representative Joe Schmick, and is now being debated by the Public Safety Committee.
And then in Wisconsin, if you would post where we could write to the legislators, we could get something going, because that is so dangerous.
Yeah,
Keep abuse secret, and then look what happens. If it's animals, then next it's people.
Yeah, it's blatantly unconstitutional as well. For example, if a journalist or a reporter was on the public road and was videotaping or doing a story about a farm from the public road, they could be arrested and thrown in jail for a year.
And what does that do to somebody like Maureen who sees horses who are being abused?
Yeah, in fact, the sheriff was going after her and a couple others for reporting horse abuse. She was getting tickets and restraining orders and the whole 9 yards. Thankfully, a judge did dismiss some of those.
I still have the trespassing charge. I have to go in to speak with the DA on the at the end of March.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there's no evidence I did not trespass, so they can. I'd like a jury trial.
That's what Cindy said. Yeah, I was talking to her yesterday or a couple days ago.
Yeah. And most recently about the ag gag was the Weiss Brothers farm is what I was thinking about. You guys familiar with that? The Weiss Brothers farm where they found the abuse there of the cows, you know, and it came out, it was the cheese.
Oh, yeah. Was that a Mercy for Animals investigation?
Yeah, for DiGiorno pizza.
Yep.
It became kind of a big issue, but that was another one. That's kind of most recent example I can think of.
Yeah, there's a lot of animal cruelty going on, and our job should be to stop it rather than, you know, prosecuting the people that report it. That seems kind of redundant to me. Absolutely. So does anyone have any ideas on what they would like to see on that website, on the Stop the Gag website?
One thing I'd like to see, I think would make sense, is anybody who we should contact.
Yeah.
Name, addresses, you know, so, and then we could just let people know, write to these people, contact these people.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's going to be a section where people can contact the person that proposed the legislation. They can mail him, they can email him, and phone call him, as well as the co-sponsors of it.
Has there been any online petitions?
Yeah, I actually just created the online petitions yesterday, and I'll attach those to the website when it's launched next week.
Okay, I'm guessing that would do fairly well.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know Mercy for Animals and the Humane Society of the United States is also going to be joining us on this campaign, so it's nice to have that powerful force behind us as well.
Right.
I'm loving that group.
Yeah.
I've been following Mercy, and I think they're doing some outstanding work.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
Is it a local group or is it a national group?
It's national now. However, it started out, I'm not sure, down in Chicago, I believe. I don't know. They have an office down there, I know that. Oh, and then when the website is launched next week, we're going to notify all the media outlets and try and get us interviewed to promote that website. So hopefully that garners some more attention. And for those who don't know, going on a separate subject, Anne here has a bunch of chickens that are very cute. She raises chickens as pets, I suppose, and they're adorable. She posts them on Facebook, and they're a lot of fun to look at. I actually want to stop over one day and just visit them.
Actually, I rescued 6 hens, but it was a kind rescue. The farmer is a really good guy.
Okay.
He was in his farm, and he was just going to do what farmers do and have the hens go to the butcher shop. And I yelled, "Save the hens!" So he did come to my house, and he filled coops and everything, but I knew nothing from hens until November.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not a bad guy. He supplies me with all the food and everything. So it's not like a rescue from a bad farmer.
Yeah. Well,
And now
nice. I used to actually take care of chickens when I was in high school in our agriculture class, and it was a lot of fun. They're very cute.
Okay, well, it sounds like we've got some work to do, so we can help with the gag ones, writing to all of our people. And I guess we still have to do the pigs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the frogs.
Yeah.
And the frogs, I'm going to check what university is there, what colleges.
Yep. For the St. Patrick's frog thing, I mean the pig thing, they don't know if they're going to be hosting another one this year, so hopefully they choose not to do so. Because I know the pastor at that church did tell one of the people that called him recently that they don't know what they're going to do now. So, hopefully that shines some light on the situation.
Keep the pressure on. It's the only thing that makes them fold.
Exactly.
Do you know, in terms of the ag-gag laws, is there anyone that has been arrested for?
Yes.
There has.
There's been one person that has been arrested and charged. However, those charges were dropped after it got national attention. So. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it certainly affects people. But,
so that in a sense, that's one of the things that we can do also is if there's anyone, it's kind of a fine line really, so that if we're not reporting the abuse, but we're reporting on the trials or the arrest records or that kind of thing of people who are being harassed under this law. That also could be a way that we could help, is to make it go viral. The story about the people who are helping, making that story go viral, so that there is pressure, so that charges get dropped if anyone is getting charged under this law.
And give them the attention and the coverage for the reasons that they are doing it, to put a spotlight on that.
Right. Because if you can have one county sheriff who is friends with somebody who's abusing animals, and if that problem stays, in a sense, that problem stays in that county, then that kind of thing can continue. But as soon as it goes statewide or national, that it dilutes the power of that one sheriff to maintain a situation where there's abuse, because then it becomes abuse of their power, and their power decreases the more light that is shown on that from the state or from a national perspective.
And they would love to operate in the shadows.
Of course, and that's the thing, is if all that information is kept within that county where that sheriff is the head of law enforcement, then those kinds of things can continue. But when it's brought to a state or national level, I really think that impacts the amount of power that one person at a local level has. I think it dilutes the power of people who are perpetrating abuse, and it magnifies the power of people who are trying to solve the problem and shine a light on the problem, so that people can't be in the shadows doing things that are wrong.
And bully, I really think it's bullying.
Oh yeah.
Right.
In fact, the sheriff, the reason he gave for not taking the action in regards to the horses is that he had a veterinarian examine the animals, and that he said that she gave them a clear bill of health. So what we did was we subpoenaed the veterinary records, and we got them, and it shows that the veterinarian was actually very concerned about the animals, and she noted that in her report. So the sheriff just flat out lied about that. So now we are in the process of subpoenaing his emails, so we can find out what else he's hiding.
Perfect. That's great.
This whole story has just been such an eye-opener to me. The fact that if he wanted to help somebody that he knew, why not write the ticket and dismiss it out the back door? But to do all of this and stick his neck out so far for somebody that he knows is amazing. I mean, never seen anything like it. For people who are just trying to help.
Yeah.
You know, my thinking on that gag law is that it's probably huge because I think companies like Monsanto Farms and Kraft and you know, the major corporations, the ones who are doing all the lobby work to buy the legislators, it's probably with those farms too, because those are very aggressive in animal abuse.
Yeah, the Wisconsin legislator that said he was going to propose this egg gag thing said he's doing so because the Wisconsin Dairy Association asked him to do so.
Right.
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 Going to be more small farms. I think you're going to find corporate and lobbying. So it's a big project, but doesn't mean it shouldn't be started.
And I think it's easy to get demoralized and think, well, you know, they've got all this money that they can throw at it. But really, in my experience, the thing that is most effective in fighting money is information. Is the more information we can get out about this, then it doesn't matter how much money they have to throw at it. That information is out there. And in this day and age, you know, maybe, you know, 20 years ago, it would have been a very different situation. And often I think people with money are winning those situations maybe 20 years ago. But today, information is so powerful. And getting that information out to people, it's really, I think it helps people to do the right thing when they feel that information is going out. And in a sense, that's what this law is trying to prevent. It's trying to prevent the power of information, and it's trying to prevent the power of information because of the power of people with the money. And so I think that it goes beyond just, okay, let's try and help these animals that are being abused. I think it goes beyond that. It goes to the point where, you know, what is more important, money or information? And if money is the most important thing, then the people with money are going to be able to decide everything. And if information is the most important thing, then it levels the playing field so that all of us can express what we feel is right, is good, is the best thing to go forward and to really make the world a better place. And I really see almost the more metaphorical aspects of this legislation as being who gets to say what happens in the world.
I think the other thing, like for example, the Weiss Brothers farm, that was a dairy farm where the milk was being used to make the cheese for DiGiorno, and that backed up on DiGiorno. And I think whoever is doing the abuse, if they're providing a product out in that market, that's really where you shine the spotlight on those people, because DiGiorno backs up on Weiss Brothers farm.
Right.
So you cut them off at the source, which I think is huge.
Right, but if you can't
be associated with that.
Right, but if you can't report the abuse, if you can't share that information, then companies are not going to be carrying. You know, they're not going to care about it.
Right.
Right. So that about covers everything that we had on the main agenda, but if anyone wants to chip in anything that they want to say, they can go ahead and do that. I can write any ideas down.
I would like to talk about the Department of Ag in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I have an idea that I've been kicking around for some time. A few years ago, there was a situation down in Illinois where a shelter claimed that they were a no-kill animal shelter and advertised themselves all over the place as a no-kill shelter. Some of the volunteers started talking, saying that they didn't like what was going on, and it got brought to my attention. So I did an open records request to the Department of Agriculture down in Illinois, and I was quite pleased at what I got back. It was a form that each shelter is required to fill out for the state of Illinois. They pay their $25 annual fee for their license renewal, and they have to fill out a small section of that form in regards to the disposition of their animals. So, for example, it goes dogs, cats, wildlife, others. For dogs, say that their intake was 1,000 dogs per year. 200 were reclaimed, 400 were adopted, and 400 were euthanized. So every single shelter that has a license has to turn in these numbers annually. And the state of Illinois can then compile those numbers at the end of the year and figure out if they're doing better, are they doing worse, are they bringing more animals into the state. In Wisconsin here, we have no idea where we're at. We just have no idea what that number is.
Going back to the $25 annual fee, what is that for again?
The annual fee, it's just to renew their license.
Which license?
For running a shelter operating license.
Okay.
They turn in that $25 fee. They get their license renewed.
Is that in Wisconsin as well?
I'm not exactly sure. I know they have to pay a fee every year, but there's nothing required. We don't. MADAC, as far as I know, is the only one that publicly comes out with their numbers, and I think their opinion of that is look at what we must do. I think they have been trying harder in the last few years to get the dogs adopted, but unfortunately there's a large number of dogs that go down at MADAC, but there's transparency there. They say this is what we do, this is what we kill. And I think that if we did that on a statewide level, we would know if we need to be more aggressive with spay and neutering programs, etc. But until we start something like that, we have no idea where we're at.
Okay.
And I think that's unfortunate.
So let me see if I can get that I understand what you're saying. So you would like to see something in Wisconsin where shelters are required to report the number of animals that they take in and what they do with those animals?
Correct. Because the only animals that you can do open records requests on now are stray contracts. So, say for example, here in Racine, Wisconsin Humane Society has the municipal contract for strays in 18 of the various municipalities here. Only their strays can you get an open record. So if people go in, families go in and have to have their animals euthanized, that's none of your business. You can't know that through open records. But the state of Illinois requires that they report all euthanasias, all intakes, so you get the whole number down in Illinois.
Okay. Okay.
And if rescues have to register and be licensed, as Maureen was saying, that may be the place where then they say, in order to get your license, you have to give us this information. That may be the source of trying to change that law.
Yes, and I think the biggest battle with the state of Wisconsin, in my opinion, is that they favor kill shelters. I think they have been sort of notorious, and there's a history there of them hassling no-kill shelters, and I don't think that they so much want to come out with that information, but I think it's something that the people have to speak about that. I think that voices need to be heard, that we want to know where we're at in the state of Wisconsin, because and I think there's a lot of southern transports coming in. In the New England states, they made it mandatory to have spay and neuters, and then they were actually closing shelters because they didn't need them anymore. And then there was a large influx of southern dogs coming to the New England states, and shelters had to start reopening again. And I think that there's a large number of southern dogs. I have mixed views on that, because I would like every dog to have a home, but I feel like the more that we relieve southern states of their problems, the less of a problem they have to deal with, and they don't deal with it. So
yeah, actually, going back to the Tennessee frog thing, the same town that hosts that event also has a little animal shelter where they have 2 part-time employees, and there was one instance where both of those employees did not show up for work, and a bunch of animals died that day, and
Right.
the sheriff's department didn't do a single thing to prosecute anyone, and it was just sweep it under the rug and be done with
Right.
it.
Right. And I think, I've moved a lot of dogs in the years out of Tennessee with a friend of mine. I don't currently do that, but Tennessee in particular is one of the wealthiest states. I mean, they have a lot of money. They could certainly put more money into spay and neutering, but if everybody keeps loading trucks and moving them out of Tennessee, they report that their numbers are falling. And it's not a problem they're dealing with at all. We just keep relieving them of their problem. And it's becoming our problem and New England's problem, and everybody else, their shelters are filling up and our kill numbers are going up, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah, certainly a problem, and something that I definitely want to work with. Hopefully the GCG can try and push legislators to propose a bill to require animal shelters to report the number of animals they take in and what they do with those animals.
And it really, is it the Act 90 that just got implemented? I keep getting confused with Act 90 and Act 10. Act 90?
I'm not sure.
Where all of the, that was the recent legislation that came through in terms of requirements of shelters, but that could have simply been made a line item right into there. It would be that easy to do.
Yeah.
So something definitely worthwhile.
Yep, I just wrote that down, so hopefully we can do more research into this and try and push that through.
Right. And I know, too, just to take that one step further, I don't remember what you call it, the euthanasia drug that's used, I know typically it's referred to as blue juice.
Yeah, sleep away.
That is a heavily regulated drug, and you can say, well, how would shelters know, how would anyone know if the number that they're reporting that they euthanize 200 is actually accurate? Well, when they euthanize a dog, they fill out a form, and it requires them to put down the pound of dog. So, and I'm making up these numbers, but say if you put down 2,500 pounds of dog, your ordering of that medication would have to be in balance somehow. So if you were ordering, and like I said, I'm making this up, if you ordered 40 liters more than it would take to kill that many pounds of dogs, you would know that the DEA would probably trigger an investigation by the DEA, and you could say, well, if they don't have it currently in stock, that's part of their inventory, that they're killing way more dogs or cats than they're actually reporting. So, interesting.
Very true. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I didn't think of. So hopefully we can get that looked into.
Illinois has a much better handle on that.
Yeah.
Really, as a state, and they can tell. Like, I like the idea just annually to know if you're doing better or worse. Are you making any progress? And in Wisconsin, until we get something going, we'll never know. We don't know where we are.
I think Virginia does the same thing as well.
It's a great idea. Transparency.
Yeah, exactly.
Say what you do.
Yep. It's just about information, accessing that information, transparency, and all that. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. I think it's paid everything we've all done, so I'm just grateful. I want to say thank you to everybody.
Yeah, thank you everyone for taking time out of your night to do this.
I know I didn't really say much.
You've done great work, Jordan.
Thank you. You too, Maureen.
You can finally hear us, huh?
Yeah, well, I've been able to.
Okay, that's good.
Plug it into my phone and then use the webcam on my computer.
I knew you'd figure it out.
Yeah.
Matthew, where do you live?
I live in Wisconsin, Watertown, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Same town as Jordan.
Okay, so we've got one. It's all W's at least. Kim is from Washington. Spokane. And you know, Jordan, when I first met you and started interviewing you, who would have thought that I'd be living in Wisconsin?
I know, and we still haven't even met officially in person. We got to change that.
Jordan on the Creating Calm Network. Him and I own the Creating Calm Network. It's an internet broadcast group. And I lived in Florida for 30 years and just moved to Wisconsin. So.
Yeah. How are you liking that decision to move here?
I love it.
Really? It's really cold. I know that.
I worry about my chickens when it's like negative, I think it was negative 10 all day today, so I worry about them. But other than that, I love it myself. Kim, is it snowing in Washington?
No, not at all. Spring is almost here out here. We've had a very mild winter, and I mean, it's cold, but we haven't had snow in, I don't know, maybe a month.
Kim, I might just have to move there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it was a beautiful day today. So, all right, thanks so much for the work that you do, and everyone. And I think we've really gotten some clarity on what some of the projects we're going to continue to work on are, and I look forward to continuing the journey with you.
Absolutely. I just want to thank everyone.
How often will you have town hall meetings?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How often will you have town hall meetings?
This was our first one, but I would definitely like to do it more often because I think it's a really good idea to exchange ideas and to connect with other people. So maybe we can do it like, I don't know, every 6 weeks or something like that.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
This is now up. By the time we finish, give it 5 minutes, it'll be on YouTube. So you'll be able to go to YouTube. I think it's going to be on the Creating Calm Network because I went in real quick to set it up. But I'll send the link. I'll put the link to the YouTube, Jordan. I'll send you the link so that anybody who missed this and wants to see it. And then, Jordan, take a look. If you want me to edit it, I can pull it down and cut out some of that confusion.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad we had this backup idea of Google+. That was all Anne's idea, so thank you very much. I'm sorry the first thing that I did, Ustream, did not turn out well. That was our first time using it, so.
And the reason, just so everybody knows, Jordan and I had talked a little bit about it. Google+ lets 10 people be like this. 1 million people could watch us, but only 10 people can show up, and we thought that was too limiting. So that's why Jordan went to Ustream, and it really did look like everybody could get on, but none of us could. That's why
and maybe the thing to do would be to talk and have this meeting on Google+, but also have a Ustream going at the same time, where you're not listening, but to use the chat aspect, and people could write in. They could write in what questions or suggestions.
Can they do that here as well? I see a writing box here, a message box.
They can if I set it up before I did the.
Okay. So they would be able to do it here. Okay. Right.
Yeah, I just hurried and did it. But if you set the chat up ahead of time, we can also have chat feature.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So we'll decide. I mean, we're welcome to use Google+, but I was just afraid with 10 people it would be good enough.
Yeah, I think this is actually going to work great. I kind of like how it's set up.
Yeah, and more people could be on the chat and write things in if they can't get on to talk.
So
can more than 10 people chat if they can't video?
Yeah, you can have the whole world chatting and watching. Only 10 of us could be here on the screen.
Could be talking.
Okay, I think that sounds good.
Alrighty, well, thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you back in 6 months.
Thanks, Jordan.
Bye.
Bye-bye.